Ah, Christmas, the time of good food, warm jumpers, and bad games exploiting the holiday for a quick buck. Today we visit the horrors of Rudolph the Rednosed Reindeer, the game, freshly squelched out onto every possible platform that would choose to accept it.
If I live to be 100, I'll never be able to forget that big snowstorm a couple of years ago. The weather closed in and, well, you might not believe it, but the world almost missed Christmas.
The game begins with Sam the Snowman, and it's rough. The game plays its hand in the beginning, collectibles strewn down a path, the calling card of cheap licensed platformers, awkward controls, a double jump, holding the button floats. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the game, is a recently released title by Game Mill and developed by Headless Chicken Entertainment. And yeah, that's what the studio is called. I swear, this is like Blind Squirrel Entertainment developing Sonic Colors Ultimate. What's with these studios making it sound like these games are developed by a stunted animal? It's like it's designed for a reviewer to say, this game definitely plays like a headless chicken made it. Zing, got 'em. But geez, there certainly are a lot of winter and Christmas themed shovelware titles. But there are some good winter themed games. And yes, I am plugging my own game, Reindeer Story. It's one of the good ones. If you enjoy this review, or want a good reindeer game, please give it a try on Steam. But back to the subject. Rudolph the game is based on the Rankin-Bass 1964 stop-motion classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yep, here's where we grow 'em. Yep.
You'll notice what Sam's saying is
here's where we
direct line reads from the movie.
Yep.
The developers
Here's where we grow 'em.
tried to cram in as many direct line reads from the movie with new voice actors, and the new voice actors are okay. However, because the scenes aren't one-to-one with the movie, sometimes these lines just make no sense at all.
And the missus. First castle on the left. Matter of fact, the only castle on the left.
You'll see later in the video, but I'm not editing any of these scenes that just have lines that make no sense.
This Christmassy time of year, especially when everything is running happy and smooth. Nothing like that year of the big snowstorm. Ooh, I don't know what we would have done without Rudolph. Rudolph? Could it be that some of you are not acquainted with the story of Rudolph? You know how Santa uses these flying reindeer to pull his sleigh. You know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. But do you recall the most famous reindeer of all? Years
Focus
before the big
shifts
snow.
to the birth of Rudolph and his naming by his parents, Donna and Kebab.
Nah, we'll call him Rudolph.
Rudolph is a lovely name. Rudolph.
An area of praise is that the character models do kinda look like the puppets, so good job there, Headless Chickens.
He's got a shiny nose.
Shiny? I'd even say it glows.
Well, we'll simply have to overlook it.
Now how can you overlook that? His beak blinks like a blinking beacon.
Well, Donner, where's the new member of the family? After all, if he's going to be on my team someday, he'd better get to know me.
Santa.
And smart, too. A great bouncing iceberg.
Now, I'm sure it'll stop as soon as he grows up, Santa.
So let's take our freshly newborn reindeer for a spin. Rudolph's controls are what you expect. Controls are a lot like Sam the Snowman. You have a double jump, a ground stomp, a charge, and you can crawl under gaps.
Nah.
Rudolph.
The controls are loose and the camera can be a bit wild at moments, but it is at least playable. Our first task is to get a jingle bell by jumping up a couple of ledges.
Those are my famous Christmas jingle bells.
That was pretty easy, wasn't it? I hope you liked that because this is 95% of what we'll be doing for the rest of the game. We really are just running around the game's levels, collecting endless collectibles with a very small number of unique situations.
Maybe someday you could make the sleigh team. If you fix that thing with your nose.
Bye.
No, Santa's right. He'll never make the sleigh team. Wait a minute. I've got it. We'll hide Rudolph's nose.
Hide it?
Yeah, you'll be a normal little buck just like everybody else, right? A chip off the old antlers.
In the movie, there's a bit of a time skip from the naming of Rudolph to the reindeer games, where he gets a little bit older. However, the game makes this happen back to back, so Rudolph goes from barely speaking a word to being perfectly coherent. It's a bit inconsistent, but a game based on a movie will have to abridge some events, but it still must tell a coherent story of its own that doesn't rely on someone having watched the movie it was based on to understand the game. In the game, Hermie, Clarice and Yukon Cornelius are all introduced and befriended through generic fetch quests. The problem with this is that it skips over a lot of the context about the characters and will make their character motivations very confusing. In the movie, Hermie is an elf who wants to become a dentist. In the game, when Rudolph first meets Hermie, he says he is a dentist. Come on, did they even watch the movie? He wanted to become a dentist, he wasn't already one of them, and more importantly,
why weren't you at elf practice?
I'd also like to point out, by doing this, the game fails to identify Hermie as an elf, or highlight that anyone considers it's weird that he wants to be a dentist, and why he's a misfit. Considering he has round ears instead of pointy elf ears, a kid who hasn't watched the movie and just experienced this game could think he's a human. It would have only took a few extra lines of dialogue to fix. We've even also lost track of our own plot differences now, because Hermie describes Rudolph as a fellow misfit. But Rudolph's nose is covered, we've only just met, so Hermie can't think Rudolph is a misfit yet. So overall, this is a really bad adaptation. 20 minutes in. How anyone who hasn't watched the movie is supposed to follow what the deal is with Hermie is beyond me. The Steam page says it's a new way to experience the classic, but I didn't think they meant plot holes and inconsistencies, undecipherable character motivations, and plot changes which the writers of the game can't even keep track of. At this point you unlock multiplayer and you can play as any of the 4 major characters, and yes, these 3 threadbare scenes have introduced the 3 main characters other than Rudolph. Obviously there was no one I was gonna convince to play this game with me, so it'll be single player, but I'm independent and I have you, dear viewer. Let's be independent together.
Oh, is this your snowbank?
No. Who are you?
Well, actually, I am a dentist.
A dentist?
Well, I want to be someday. Right now, I'm just an elf. But I don't need anybody. I'm independent.
Yeah? Me too. I'm whatever you said. Independent.
Hey, what do you say we both be independent together, huh?
In addition to jingle bells, you can collect gold nuggets and baubles. The gold nuggets can be used at stars to buy a jingle bell in a level and to buy hints for where the other ones are, and collecting all of the baubles in a level unlocks a jingle bell. We really are just collecting jingle bells. A number of jingle bells are used to gate progression at certain points, and sometimes the baubles are as well. And randomly, not at all, some levels you can just progress regardless of the number of jingle bells you collect. It's not very consistent. Anyway, let's go to Dasher to do the reindeer games. So the reindeer games represented by an obstacle course. Also, it's a bit weird here that all these dealings, these little fawns, just all say cheers. What's that about? But yeah, these platforming sections are probably the only interesting part of the game. It's still quite trivially easy. The crawling's a bit unresponsive. But because of a double jump, holding jump makes you float. You can also wall jump, a bit like Super Mario 64, but it's not all that great. You can see how difficult it is to wall jump and get into this little gap here. Like, I've played dozens of platformers, and this has all the parts, but they just don't function entirely well. Like, that's how I was calling it, loose. And here's a secret passage, and there's a jingle bell hidden here, which is classic 3D platformer sort of stuff. You'd see this stuff in a Mario game, and you can tell that these developers have been inspired by it because they've given each of the jingle bells certain names, which is what Nintendo tend to do with the mission stars or the moons in Mario Odyssey. The problem though is because the controls are bad and it's not fun to play, it's not really that interesting to discover stuff, and it's not satisfying, so it leads to the game being weak to play and very bad narratively. The narrative gets even worse, if you can believe it. But yeah, back to the reindeer game obstacle course. It's simple. It is the first level, so it's not expected to be particularly complex. But yeah, there's nothing to it. You just double jump, and then you hold A, and you can float, and it trivializes all the platforming. It's not good. I smash up some Christmas presents out of frustration, and then I return to Dasher.
You know?
He gives you the option to do the obstacle course again, but you just collect some clocks, you're on a timer. Same old, not worth showing. The way Dasher says ready for the next part, what does he mean, like next part of the game? Like, it's a bit self-aware for a game that isn't actually self-aware, you know? This isn't Undertale.
You get back here. It's your turn, you know.
Gee, I gotta go back. Would you walk home with me? Uh-huh. Rudolph, I think you're cute. I'm cute! She said I'm cute!
Magnificent! That's what I call a great takeoff.
Get away from me!
Fireball, what's the matter?
Now, what's this nonsense here, Bucks?
While I did praise the character models, in practice the scenes are animated quite awkwardly. Characters awkwardly bob or stand still like statues in scenes when they should be moving. It's very unsettling. Animation bits are limited, and usually only to Rudolph. It's fairly creepy when the motionless reindeer are just laughing at Rudolph, with an ominous laugh in the background.
Stop laughing at me!
All right now, yearlings, back to practice. Oh no, not you. You better go home with your folks.
And it's awkward when Dasher shoos Rudolph away while he's just standing there, menacingly.
From now on, gang, we won't let Rudolph join in any reindeer games, right?
So that's the first level. I got a bunch of the collectibles off screen. Not all of them, though, they were tedious, really. But the game now very abruptly changes scene. You'd think Rudolph was going back home to his parents, but he's not. You tell me if this makes sense.
I have an idea that will cheer us all up. Let's slide down the mountain. Yeah, we can show them that we are independent.
Maybe someone needs a dentist.
Maybe there's gold!
Definitely not gold.
Oh yeah, Hermie, there's totally no gold here. Look at all this gold I'm not collecting. It's almost absurd that the common collectible is gold nuggets and not peppermints or something. The North Pole is full of gold. No wonder Santa can afford to run a business giving away free toys. But anyway, the second level, the mountains, a bit like an auto runner where you just expect it to go forward.
Look out!
It's okay. So from this point, Hermie, Yukon and Clarice are shunted into the significant scenes of the game after basically being generic best quest characters. Also, Clarice is a misfit in this too. Don't ask me why.
Please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason.
Obviously she's there so the game can have a playable female character, but the game doesn't clarify these things, and like I said, we've chopped up the story. Like, why are they at a mountain?
It's the
Why is Rudolph talking about being independent? It's like,
Even I hate an annoying bumble
obviously in the
snowmonster.
movie, at this point, Rudolph has met Hermie. They've bonded over the fact that they're both misfits and we're going to strike out on their own to be independent. Again, without watching the movie, you can't actually get the story that the game's trying to tell. It's too abridged. There's not enough there to take you from the reindeer games all the way to sliding down the mountain to be independent. So at the end of the mountain is the Bumble, the abominable snowman. He hounds the characters across the movie, and this is one thing that we've managed to maintain.
The Misfits had gotten into quite a predicament. The abominable snow monster of the north had cornered them. What were they going to do?
And we actually get a boss fight. Surprising. Unique sequences like this boss fight are used sparingly. I was staggered when I received an achievement about beating the Bumble once, because it tipped me off that it was likely the only actual enemy in the game. The Bumble is faced in a dubiously coded boss battle. At first, I was actually confused. I didn't realise he got hit by an ice block, so I thought you were just supposed to ram into him. And I wasn't taking damage at first, and then I suddenly just took damage. I took 2 points of damage. He almost defeated me. But you're meant to throw a snowball at him to disable him, and then you have to ram into him, but only his feet, because if you jump up and hit him, it doesn't hurt him. I don't know why, don't ask me why.
It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight.
My god, I haven't seen a boss this awkward since Croc 1.
It's my nose! It keeps giving us away!
Once you figure out what to do, it's quite easy, but as you've seen, it's a bit tricky to find out what you actually have to do. But we defeat the Bumble, but that isn't enough to take him down, so the characters flee.
Who were trapped?
Yukon, help!
The Bumble has one weakness, and I know it. The bumble sinks! Ha ha! Yukon Cornelius scores again! Wobby!
Mister, where are we going?
Are we going home?
You're going to stay with me, and we'll all be rich with all the silver we're going to be hauling.
I thought you wanted gold.
I changed my mind!
Yes, our friends were really going. Just none of them knew where.
So, that's basically child abduction, right? Answer in the comments, please. It is abduction though, isn't it?
Hello! Fog's as thick as peanut butter.
You mean pea soup?
You eat what you like, and I'll eat what I like. Land ho!
Where are we?
What is all this ruckus? Halt! Who goes there?
Us, of course. Who'd you think?
Oh, well then that's okay. Okay! Who, may I ask, are you?
We're Rudolph and Hermie and Yukon Cornelius and Clarice, sir. Who are you?
I'm the official sentry of the Island of Misfit Toys.
A Jack-in-the-Box for a century?
Yes, my name is...
Don't tell me. Jack.
No, Charlie! That's why I'm a misfit toy. My name is all wrong. No child wants to play with a Charlie in the box, so I had to come here.
We speak to Charlie in the box, the misfit Jack in the box. In the island of misfit toys, each of the toys have something wrong with them that makes them misfit. So Charlie is a Jack in the Box who's called Charlie, and there's other stuff like a bird that swims and a doll. But now this island is huge, so in a collectathon platform with large levels, because this is what this is, a collectathon, the benefit is that you have some freedom to get the collectibles you want and to progress in your own way. In Mario 64, outside the first star, in the Bowser levels, it doesn't really matter what star you collect, as long as you collect enough to progress. So let's say you were required to do an extremely specific mission, or find a specific item that wasn't prominently marked on the map. It would get very tedious because there's a chance it'll be in the last place you look. Well, in the third level, the Isle of Misfit Toys, these NPCs are on the map, so it should be easy to find. Why? Each one you speak to has a mission. Dolly wants you to smash ice to grab some balls. The soldier wants you to find feathers, but the worst, the thing that made me pour myself a glass of gin on a weekday, was scouring the bloody island for this plane and train. You talk to them and they want to play hide and seek, then they disappear to two different points in the level with no hint or way to find them on the map. At this point of the game I was like, I'm bored, I'm just going to do the bare minimum. But because all of these toys and their quests are mandatory to progress. I ended up collecting almost all of the levels, Jingle Bells and Baubles, just looking for them. It wasn't fun, and that's why you shouldn't have these kind of mandatory tasks be missions, especially when you have multiple of them. So up until this point, I've been skipping most of the tedious parts of the game, which is the generic collectathon. But so I just need to show you all of this to get a good grasp of what really went wrong. Because yeah, I am being tough on this game, I am being harsh, but this really isn't fun game design. As a game designer myself, I've made games, but you can't just give a player a huge level to find stuff in and then make it so that the player has to complete 8 separate missions that involve going to specific places to find specific things. And it's not enjoyable, it's tedious, it's frustrating, and legitimately the last thing I find is the plane. Back on the N64 era, people criticised Banjo-Tooie for being massive collectathons where the world's just too big, but they at least made it so that you didn't have to collect specific jiggies, you didn't have to collect specific collectibles, you just had to collect a certain number which was scattered across the levels, which meant no matter where you looked, you'd probably find enough to progress in the story. It might get tough if you're going for 100%, but this does the worst thing because it makes it so that you have to scour the entire level top to bottom just to progress. It wouldn't be so bad if I was doing 100% completion, but I wasn't. And earlier in the game, they had gates which were locked by a certain number of Jingle Bells. But from this point in the game, that stops happening. There's a area of the game, this level, that requires a certain number of baubles to unlock. I think the toy scooter. But at this point, the Jingle Bells don't matter. It doesn't matter how many you collect. You just have to complete these 8 tasks. And this isn't the only level that actually does it. There's another level in the game that requires you to complete extremely specific tasks where you have to find very specific objects or you just can't progress the game. It's ridiculous. It's mind-boggling. How did they come up with a system for collecting Jingle Bells to progress and then just use it at the start in the first level and then just give up on it? But alas, we've gathered the toys, so let's go see King Moonracer.
I am King Moonracer. Come closer. What do you desire?
Well, we're all misfits from Christmas Town, and now we'd like to live here.
No, that would not be possible. This island is for toys alone.
How do you like that? Even among misfits, you're misfits.
Unlike playthings, a living creature cannot hide himself on an island. But perhaps, being misfits yourselves, you might help the toys here.
Help them?
Yes. When someday you return to Christmas Town, would you tell Santa about our homeless toys? A toy is never truly happy until it is loved by a child.
When and if we ever get back, we'll tell Santa, sir.
Good. You are free to spend the rest of your day here.
So, King Moonracer says that they can't stay on the island, but I wouldn't want to stay on the island anyway, you stupid winged lion with a silly name.
At least the Misfits are going to stick together. But one thing they were not counting on. The abominable snow monster found a way to the island.
Okay, I lie. It's the coolest design and name in the story. You can definitely tell, I feel if you've watched the movie or even looked at these character designs, you can tell how the characters were designed in Japan just because of how cute the cuter characters like Rudolph and Clarice are, and sort of the cool looking characters like King Moonracer. It's pretty anime, really. What follows is another sort of like the reverse of the mountain level where you're sliding down the mountain. In this one, you're running towards the screen, a bit like those Crash Bandicoot levels where he's running away from a boulder or a polar bear. One good thing though is this level and the next one don't have any required missions, so you can actually just go straight through it, get to the end, and then the next level you just have to get to the end of that one as well. There's jingle bells, but at this point I just generally stopped focusing on collecting them unless they were conveniently close enough. I mean, I didn't actually realise that at this point I didn't actually need to collect any more jingle bells to beat the game, but the Island of Misfit Toys just wore me down.
Is it the same monster?
What were the Misfits going to do now? In the face of its terrifying jaws, they realize they need to put him back
The second battle against a Bumble, and it's even more confusing than the first one. I still don't really understand how you defeat this one. I thought running into his feet was causing him to trip over, but it just seems like he randomly collapses and rocks fall around him, and then gusts of wind pick up, which you have to jump on and charge at him in the body to hit him back. I thought this was triggered by running into his feet because I wasn't taking any damage, and then I just suddenly started taking damage. It's weird. It's jankier than the first battle. See, I didn't do anything and he just trips over. A plane appears. I don't know if that's a toy plane helping us, but it doesn't look like the plane from the Misfit Toy Island. And I charge and I hit him in the head, but that didn't damage him. And then I do manage to hit him, and then I get knocked off the level and lose. Oh, it's horrible. So at this point I actually do realise that running into him does nothing. So at this point I just move around slightly and just wait when he blows, because he's not going to hit you. And then he just falls over, and then I hit him twice and the battle's over. It's easy, but it wasn't signposted. It was confusing.
Nonsense. It's all for all, and I mean, one way. Let's get some shut-eye.
We're sticking together. It's settled.
We are all misfits after all.
But
It's all settled, Rudolph.
So this scene was probably very confusing. The context in the movie, not in the game, is that Rudolph was supposed to be running off by himself while his friends stay at the island for misfit toys for the rest of the day, as Moonracer does say in the game as well. This is so that Rudolph can draw away the bumble, but in the game, all the characters escaping the bumble together, so this scene makes no sense in context, and I don't know why it's in the game.
No, it's all settled. We leave tomorrow together.
But the abominable will see my nose and get us all. I've got to go alone.
Nonsense. It's all for all, and one for. I mean, one for. Let's get some shut-eye.
But
It's all settled.
A bit of a shock to watch that scene, I'm sure, because one of them's a classic, a very carefully designed story, and the other one is some slapped together mockery that was probably written by someone who watched the original while they were staring at the mobile. Because I don't think it's a case of, oh, these people just crap, they can't design anything. We obviously can, and they can get voice actors, but we obviously didn't care if the story made any sense, which is sad for being a commercial Christmas sort of movie. Rudolph the Rednosed Reindeer does have a good plot, so having one of these shovelware like make a mockery of it, it's sad. It's very sad.
Well, time passed slowly. The misfits existed as they could. The snow monster kept chasing them. But during all that time, a strange and wonderful thing was happening. And Rudolph realized that you can't just run away from your troubles. He knew where they had to go. Home.
Rudolph is now an older reindeer with big antlers. It's a bit interesting because in sequels to the movie, he ends up not having as big antlers. Probably because of design. His smaller antlers is more iconic.
They're gone, Rudolph. They've been gone for months, out looking for you.
My father?
He's gone too. Christmas Eve is only 2 days off, and without Donner, I'll never be able to get my sleigh off the ground.
we'll find Donner, sir. We'll find them all.
Are you sure?
Of course, Santa, sir. We have each other.
As long as you're all careful. Good luck.
Suddenly, it hit. The storm of storms. And only 2 days before Christmas Eve.
Anyway, we're off to the mountain to save Rudolph's parents from the bumble because, hot, and the game only has one enemy, so we have to get the use out of it, don't we?
Well...
Uh-huh.
Anyway, Old King Cole, a generous soul, would describe this game as a bog-standard collectathon platformer and would name some good games in the genre to contrast it to. But that would be giving it a lot more credit than it does deserve. I'd have called the game mindless, but the thing is, it's actually getting very marginally slightly better in this new mountain level. Maybe it's just how horrible the Island of Misfit Toys was, and it wore me down so much so that basic platforming seems like great content by comparison. Actually, a lie. There is one required mission where you have to find a raccoon and a squirrel, according to an elf, but the raccoon doesn't exist. You just find a squirrel and ground pound it. So I'm skipping that. It's mandatory, but yeah, it's not worth showing.
Now Rudolph knew that he had to find his folks right away, and he knew where he had to look. The cave of the abominable snow monster.
From the mountain onwards, they introduce a wall walk mechanic where you run across and jump across two parallel walls. It's kinda rough, but it's some kind of skill-based thing rather than mindless collecting. As mentioned, you just have to get to the end of the level. There's a cave where you go in and face the final boss.
Mom! Pa! You're okay!
Rudolph?
Is that you? Hurry! We need to get them out before the monster comes back.
And yes, the final boss is, for the third time, the only enemy in the game, and it's okay. It's better than the first two, but it's not a good boss. You just have to kind of weirdly platform up to the bumble, up these two ledges on either side of the map while he rolls loads of snowballs at you with very questionable hitboxes. And then, as you get close, he lifts a sheet of ice over his head for no reason other than indicating that you jump on the sheet and do a power stomp to hurt him. You have to do it 3 times, and it gets increasingly more difficult by them having the platforms jut in and out, and strangely for the third one, for a piece of rock to materialise in the ground underneath you that lifts you high enough up for you to jump across to a platform. It's weird. It's better than the first two, but it's not a good boss.
Let's see what we got here. Oh my, that needs to go. Oh boy, yep, that too. Don't let this big blowhard scare you anymore. He's nothing but a furball now.
He's nothing without his choppers. Let me at him. Wahoo!
Trapped, aren't ya? Well, there's nowhere you can escape from Yukon Cornelius now!
Yukon! No! He's gone! Oh, he's gone!
Why would he risk so much? Why?
I don't know. He was a good friend, and now he will never find the gold he so badly wanted.
Kids, I'm very sorry for the loss of your friend, but we should go back home. It isn't safe here.
Losing a friend is a really hard thing to go through. But Donna was right, and they all decided that the best thing to do was to go back to Christmas Town. So they make it back, and when everybody hears their story, they start to realize maybe they were a little hard on the Misfits. Maybe Misfits have a place too. Even Santa realizes that maybe he was wrong.
Rudolph, I promise, as soon as this storm lets up, I'll find homes for all those misfit toys.
Thanks, Santa, sir. They are all good toys. They just need to find a boy or girl that loves them.
And Hermie, you can open a dentist office next week after Christmas.
Oh boy, I'm going to have a full agenda. I'll start booking appointments for Wednesday at 4:30 sharp. Who wants to go first?
Open up! It isn't a fit night out for man nor beast! Here's the man, and here's the beast! Now calm down, calm down! I've reformed this Bumble. He wants a job!
But you went over the side of the cliff.
Didn't I ever tell you about Bumbles? Bumbles bounce!
Ho, ho, ho!
So, you defeated the only enemy in the game for the third and final time, saved your parents, and are back at Santa's workshop. So that's the ending, right? Santa talks about the stormy night, and in a janky running level, the game is capped off. You wish. The game's ending is hidden behind a repeat of the checklist of quests from the Island of Misfit Toys. Find the star, race Prancer, find the 5 instruments, find Santa's hat. Oh joy. The bright side of Santa's workshop is it is a smaller level than the island, though you do have to search both inside and outside. It took forever for me to find the 5th instrument, and I found everything else before it with the exact same issues as the Island of Misfit Toys. It's a bad level, it's a terrible way to end the game. I don't know why they did it. So I'm gonna leave out all this busy work. Actually, one exception. There's one thing I want to point out. In Rudolph the game, some of the movie characters are mysteriously missing, like Mrs. Claus. However, I noticed in the final level you can find a crate with Mrs. Claus written on it. Now I don't think I'm reading into things to say that the remains of Mrs. Claus is literally in this crate. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Okay, yeah, but seriously, this level wasn't entertaining at all. Let's just skip to the end.
Quiet. Everybody please be quiet. Quiet. I've got some bad news, folks. Christmas is going to be canceled. There's nothing I can do. It's this weather. Rudolph, please, would you tone it down a bit? I mean that nose of yours. That nose! That beautiful, wonderful nose!
Huh?
Rudolph, Christmas is not off, and you're going to lead my team.
I am?
Yes, sir. You and that wonderful nose of yours.
My nose, sir?
What I'm trying to say is, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
It will be an honor, sir.
So let's just get over with. Any more pearls of wisdom, Hermie?
Remember, you are my best friend, Rudolph.
Well, Rudolph hasn't said jack to you all game, and
Well, didn't find gold. Found something better. Here with you.
Ready, Rudolph?
Ready, Santa!
Okay, let's be on our way. First stop, the island of misfit toys.
Okay, so after the game's final screw you with Santa's workshop, we're onto a jankier version of the mountain level. Very little difference to the mountain level, other than you've got these lines connected to the sleigh and some other reindeer behind you which awkwardly jerk left to right as you turn. It's basically the same level. There's not really much to say. You've basically completed the game at this point. And that's that. We've saved Christmas. You'll go down in history, Rudolph. But at what cost? What cost? Yeah, 35 quid or £40 on Steam. Steep cost, Rudolph. This game really isn't worth this much. As mentioned, there's better games for cheaper. This is a janky slapperdash game. It's worse than coal in your stocking. P.S. Reindeer Story. Buy Reindeer Story. It's $8. It has better gameplay. It has better character arcs. It has more content. Help an indie dev out. But Rudolph, it's a licensed game. Licensed games are usually rushed out to coincide with a movie's release to maximise interest, rather than when the game is ready. However, this movie is from 1964. It's 61 years too late to line up with the movie. There's no re-release. There's no reason 2025 would be a better time to release it than 2026 or 2027. The sad thing is the levels towards the end of the game show small twinkles of potential. Pretty much just the mountain level basically. A year or two and Extra and Headless Chicken could have made this an appropriate alternative to the original movie. I'll give them that the game is merely boring and sloppy. It's not broken, and with more time, more compelling content, and a more coherent story, it could have even been good.
Well, folks, As for the rest of the story,
he went down in history. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!
But I wouldn't blame the developers, I'd blame the publisher Game Mill for obviously racing this game out for Christmas, possibly to minimise dev costs. But here's a news flash for you, Game Mill. There's a Christmas every year, and if you made a good game, the ultimate Christmas quest, as the Steam page claims it to be, and with a license for a popular Christmas character like Rudolph, people would want to buy it every year. To conclude, don't buy Rudolph the Rednosed Reindeer, the game. Buy Reindeer Story. It's the ultimate Christmas quest, and screw you, Game Mill, for suggesting that this overpriced rush job is ultimate anything. But a big thank you to anyone who's still watching me rant after this whole big rant and rave. This is my first review, so feedback would be nice. Subscribe if you'd like, and honestly, do check out Reindeer Story. It'd mean the world to me if people do try it, because it's hard. It's hard to compete in the indie scene. It's hard to sell video games, so please give it a try. Thank you. Also, I'm showing all the credits because game development's difficult, and I've used a lot of their content making this review, or more of a rant really. But the game developers and the voice actors do deserve to be credited, so yeah, enjoy the credits. But I'd also say, if you want to experience Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, watch the movie. It's worth watching. I put a couple clips across this review just to contrast it against how the game delivers its story. But again, thank you for watching, and please do subscribe if you like this content, and comment too, it helps.